Hi, this is Hauser. My guests tonight are Kristen Big Suze Peterson and Keith Gostad. I would like to begin by reading a prepared statement. Hi, all. Just a couple things. Well, not really anything. Not really any schism to get hooked on. No snags to teach you a lesson. Hi, now, just a couple things I wanted to touch on. One is that, and this is nothing against you personally, but if we are going to make this at all fruitful, and you will be saying to yourself at around this point, well, why are so many chairs set out? People are wandering in and out aimlessly. Well, not aimlessly, but they are coming in and not quite milling about, but doing what is called browsing titles by genre. The people are seeing what they feel like, what kinds of emotion they might be amenable to. I mean, no, that's terrible. You just pick something out. You just take it home with you. Am I right? When I'm right, I'm right. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. There are a couple things I want to touch on, and I know this is a bit touchy, but I feel it behooves us. This week I have been experiencing insomnia. You tell yourself to stop trying. Stop trying to force yourself to go to sleep. Stop laying into it so much. Stop being so aggressive with consciousness deprivation. Stop drinking so much caffeine during the day. So this broadcast is tinged with a little something different. Summer is coming. It is a frightening time, fraught with sounds and possibilities. It is filled with a fraction of itself and waiting for a line to give it measure. Sound travels differently, then differently again through the air. Our guests tonight are Kristen Big Suze Peterson and Keith Gostad. Kristen is a filmmaker and poet. Keith is a poet and publisher. Both of them are other things depending on the situation or as the case may be. I experienced insomnia this week. There's really nothing to say about it. It makes my eyes hurt. It throws things into a weird, depthless focusness. But I have been getting about 4 hours a night. That's better than nothing. C.A. Conrad says that's all he needs because he likes being alive so much. I like being alive, but sleep, like right before you fall asleep, or right before you wake up, sleep is pretty great, too. And it's not like you're not alive when you're sleeping. I like to imagine little creatures, little people, little fraught situations like desperation run amok, only not in the middle of a story this time. So many of our greatest artists have experienced dissatisfaction with story. It's never enough. It's too limiting. It's too manageable, and we don't trust manageability. We want mismanageability. We want breakfast in the sun and lunch in the rain. We want Walgreens. We want the generic version of Benadryl. We want sleep filled with brandy and effective tears. We want dancing with a lot of ventilation. To have your cake and eat it too. In the condo, the limo on top of Corinthian leather. To bargain for the chance to change your circumstances. In circumspect is like prospecting for one's winnings, finally condoning all sense of leaving grace behind. It is these methods I wanted to touch on with you guys. It is at the crux of topic and soft tangibility. To have your abstraction and eat it too. To be among lewdness and all sense of the having bought one's initials back from a fusty bureaucrat. Endorsements pending, all endorsements pending, remedial junctions of play and commodification, always bringing in the third, fourth, and fifth, always bringing in orange. My heart's not in it. Okay, so now that I got that out of the way, where's that piano coming from?
The opposite Nook over here. You see where we are, like right in there.
I guess we're just gonna have piano.
You could yell at him. You could send Big Suze over there. Is that your nickname?
Yeah, it's my nickname. I can. Yeah, I'll stop him. Let's stop this.
Oh, you don't have.
Politely. She's going to use polite powers.
Ooh, I have some business I want to get out of the way.
I see that book. I like that book.
Yeah.
I'm a wimp. I couldn't stop him.
Okay.
This is a chance for me to plug a reading that I'm organizing on June 14th, and it's going to be kind of a plug-a-thon tonight because our guests have events that they're organizing as well. But
we do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have involvement in, but I'm organizing on June 14th. Dana Ward and Brandon Brown, two great poets, are reading, and I wanted to read from this piece by Dana Ward, but I think I'm going to do that on next week's show because it's already 10:20. So we had talked about, would you guys like to read some poems for us out here in the heartland of
Sure.
America?
I even brought some tonight, and Kristen has something here.
Definitely. Let's do this.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to start with the first chapter of The Creation Myth and the Birth of Julie Andrews. It is chapter 1 of 9 to 10 chapters of The Creation Myth that I'm writing currently. Keith is going to speak as Hermes, and I'll be speaking as Callie.
Do you
or
want me to
Durga.
speak as Hermes to make the piano stop before we go?
That'd be great. Yeah, so in the meantime, I'll talk a little bit about...
I can hear you guys pretty well.
Oh, you can hear us? Well,
Yeah.
in the meantime, I'm going to talk a little bit about why I'm writing this. I'm part of a poetry collective of 4 women poets in Milwaukee. Bethany Price, Chelsea Tadejewski, and Cynthia Spencer, myself, Kristen Peterson. We were all assigned one goddess to write their most famous story in a new way. And this is the first chapter of a new American folklore story that I'm venturing on. So now that Keith is back,
Hello.
let's start. Chapter 1, The Hydra Must Die. The Hydra? We don't have heroes like Greece, Hermes. We don't have heroes like Greece. This is Durga. She's weeping as she begs her messenger god Hermes for help. Our heroes bathe, Hermes. They bathe and they whisper sexy things to maidens, and their kids live long lives. We don't build them like you do. Hermes scoffs.
Self-deprecation
He says to her, his hand on her supremely radiant shoulder.
does not become you.
Oh, Hermes, please, we must summon Callie.
Durga, I have been here to see your man underestimate the demon Hydra. I have seen each head turn to 2, and then those heads double again. But is your memory so short that you forget what Kali has done to you and your people? Could you truly forget that Kali beheaded your strongest warriors' firstborns, and today she wears their scalped heads as a garland around her neck? Do you not remember she kicked the breast of your lord and ate all 9 of your muses' hearts? Look around. Your fertile farms have no more sheep. Do you forget Kali's tongue lapping the last drops of lamb blood? Do you truly forget the night she chose your farmlands as her feast table? Durga, dearest, enlightened goddess, you must see that calling your most indecent enemy would be your biggest regret.
Hermes, I will have no army if the Hydra devours my greatest men. My bravest warriors have already fled to the mountains. I need the power of our fiercest goddess Kali to obliterate this Hydra. Right now, I must enlist her in hope her powers do not overcome her discipline.
Oh, Durga, I am but your servant, and I will do as you say. I will enter the monastery where the monks will call for Kali. But I will implore one of them one more task. I, on my knees, will beg for the prayers of these monks. Our nations will need these prayers.
Hermes, Godspeed to our song and dance men. Have them summon Kali swiftly. Nigh, the heads of the Hydra cover every inch of this battlefield. Have the Gregorian monks stir up Kali's melody so she hears it and her ears peak, and she comes presently. Presently. We must call her quickly, my dear Hermes. Hermes flees the scene. Durga waits in impatience. She watches her villagers, like ants, climb up the mountain above the sandy battlefield. The Hydra is tripping over its own heads. Then, in less than 400 breaths, the mountains begin to tremble. Durga can feel her innards pulse. She now realizes it is she that will be sacrificed to manifest Kali's spirit. "Oh, Kali!" cries Durga. "Oh, Kali, I can feel my mind fold in on itself. You pull your spirit from the linings of my insides, and out from my forehead you will present your most humbling self." Durga holds her belly and leans forward. "Kali, take me and turn me inside out so you may save my nation of nations." and sweet off a neighboring nation's bacchanal, Callie springs from Durga's brow, evaporating Durga's whole being. She stomps her firm feet on the rocks below, her 10 arms folding akimbo, her tongue facing the sun, the large cats of the world combine to make the intensity in her eyes. Presented, Callie is ready. And no one is around but the trailing Hermes. He is naked from pleasing each monk in the way the monks wish to be pleased.
Callie, we have summoned you because...
Hermes starts. Callie's arm swings at him, her eyes zeroing in on the most central Hydra head. She knows her mission. Hermes need not debrief her. She knows what she must do and exactly how she must do it. And that is the first chapter of the creation myth and the birth of Julie Andrews.
Oh. How long have you been working on this?
I wrote that today.
Okay. Did you and Keith rehearse this before?
No.
I'm not
Oh.
supposed to ask that question.
I mean, yes.
Yes, every day
Yes.
since I wrote it.
Yeah. Which was today.
2 hours ago.
Could you give us a little context for the mythical characters in that?
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 mentioned, maybe 6. There are 3 Greek characters. The Hydra, definitely, which was one of Hercules's. Hercules is mentioned, but he's not by name. Then there's Hermes, the messenger god, Mercury in Roman times, and the Muses were mentioned. And then Callie and Durga are 2 different identities for the one female goddess of the Hindu mythology or religion. And then each chapter is going to compound using all of these different goddesses and myths. And then by the end of the whole story, by like chapter 10 or 9, it's going to be pop culture and all this stuff. Just crazy things happening. And then it's going to result in Julie Andrews' birth story from everything happening.
So it kind of spans history.
Yes.
Is Julie Andrews kind of a messiah?
Yes. Isn't she to you?
No, I don't know. I've never thought of her that way.
She's a sweet thing.
Yeah, she's kind of an important cultural figure for you, though.
She was born in. Oh dang it! I just Wikipedia'd the crap
Wasn't she
out
just
of it.
on, like, Craig Ferguson or something?
Probably. She's a Libra.
I heard him say that she has a dirty mouth when she's not on the air.
I could believe it.
Oh, do you guys watch Craig Ferguson?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm a Jilly Fallon.
I don't have cable. I tend to watch a lot of things because I don't have cable that are on network television. I'm sorry, am I not speaking into the mic?
Yeah, a little closer. A little closer.
A little closer. Is this good for you?
Little bit
I'm sorry.
closer.
You don't have to pant.
I'm just. I'm sorry. When I get this close to your microphone, it just happens.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, she was on the show not too long ago, as I recall, and that's all. Sorry.
So let's talk a little bit about both of your involvement in the local poetry scene. I would like to start with you, Keith.
Okay.
How long have you been doing Burdock, and what was kind of the impetus behind starting that magazine?
I started it up in 2006, and it was mostly, it was kind of 2 things happened. That was the year I was graduating. I was through with UWM, and I was looking for something to occupy my time with that was related to poetry, because I didn't think I was going to be jumping right into grad school, and I still haven't.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to start a magazine, and the reason I decided to do it the way that I do it, where there's peelable pages or peelable poems out in the pages, is I was working as a temp at, I think it's Oshkosh Trucking, that makes those big gas tanker trucks to go over to Afghanistan and Iraq for the military. And I wasn't working for the company so much as I was working to help them clear out. They were moving to a bigger facility because the 2006, the war was getting heightened up. So these guys were getting a lot of money. So they were moving their place from Cudahy down to Oak Creek. And they were clearing out the offices, and one of their upper management people came in and says, hey, you're a writer. You can take as many boxes of printing paper as you want. I was like, oh, sweet. You know, free paper. That's awesome. I'm going to take as many as I can. I was writing the 15 all the way down. There's the 15 then that ran from East Side. Now it's the Green Line. And I was riding the bus all the way down there, and so I could only really take like 1 box at a time. So I managed to get
2 boxes of this paper home over the course of a couple days, and I opened it after I was done working there, and it wasn't normal paper. Half of it had stickers on it, and the other half was just regular paper. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with this?
Where do you get that paper now?
I have no idea. I still am using the same 2 boxes. I had so much of it.
Oh.
So like, that's like how I make it.
Have you seen the stickers around?
No, and that's the one thing I'm
people
truly
sticking 'em up?
disappointed about. I tried to encourage people, and I don't know, like it could be like people. Some people just genuinely they look at it, they don't realize that you can take some of these things out. I've seen people. Oh, there's stickers in there. Yeah, you're looking right at them.
Yeah,
because they are hard to see.
They don't even notice it.
The other thing is, I think people don't want to take poems out of the magazine. Like it's strange. I mean, I don't.
They feel it's desecrating it in some way.
You know, I understand that to a degree too, because they're on the pages. They're not actually. Because I know like Lungful had stickers that they put in, but they were just kind of wedged in like bookmarks. Whereas this is actually the page itself. You'd be taking it out of the magazine, and so you'd be leaving like a gap in there. And I think some people are uncomfortable with that. And I think honestly, other people just don't care. They just get them and throw them in the garbage. Or I famously took a picture of issue 9 on the back of somebody's toilet at the reading release for issue 9. I think it got left in a bathroom at somebody's house. I was like, "This is
like
weird."
in the tank."
No, it was on top, like like where you put your Al Franken books and stuff while you're on the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I wrote for the Night Crier, it was the school newspaper where we went to school, and I was really excited the first time I had a music review published, and I pulled the issue of the Night Crier out of the wastebasket.
Yeah.
That had I had written a review of the Downward Spiral by 9 Inch Nails.
Great album.
Yeah, I compared Trent Reznor to Edgar Allan Poe.
Well, and then he compared himself to Edgar Allan Poe a couple years later with the Perfect Drug video. Remember that?
Yeah, the whole Raven thing that has ravens in it. That video,
you knew
right?
ahead of time that he was going to do that, Mike. How did you know that?
Yeah. I don't know how I knew. You're expanding Burdock though. You're making it multimedia now.
Yeah, actually, my first show on the radio was today at 5 in the afternoon. And,
how'd it go?
It went well. I'm kind of an awkward host. I feel more comfortable on this end of the things, I think, but I think I'll grow into it. I guess people can listen for themselves. You can go on the on the website that you're listening to this show on and find Burdock Radio.
When is it on?
5 in the afternoon on Thursdays, and 5 to 6. And I usually have 2 guests on, 1 to 2 guests. Today I had Cynthia Spencer, and actually Kristen stopped by and helped Cynthia read a poem, and then read a poem of her own. And then I had my friend Evan, who is in the November Criminals with me. He plays melodeon, so he stopped by. We talked about his melodeon, his award-winning performances and such. And then a little bit about our band. We did a plug there too.
That's like a smaller version of accordion.
It's he explained to me as a diatonic button accordion, which means when you play a piano accordion, you get the same notes when you squeeze it as when you pull it apart. With a diatonic, you get different notes when you squeeze it and pull it apart.
Oh.
So it's like a harmonica.
A whole different range of modalities. At first, I thought you were going to say it's a diet accordion.
It's a lighter fare.
Yeah.
So.
Less carbs.
But it was
Crystal
cool.
Light.
Got to have some polka on the radio today. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he played the Geferle Marsch.
I still haven't learned how to play things on this show. I don't know how to do anything.
Oh, I'll show you later on after we're done.
Yeah.
I figured it out only because I had Zav hold my hand for the first 5 minutes. And explain a little bit of the board. And of course, I've forgotten half of it by now, but I do remember how to do that, I think. So.
All right.
Later, man. We'll talk.
When's the next November Criminals show?
This Saturday at Joyce Parker Presents down on Kinnickinnick. So if you're rolling down, that's right next to Sven's Cafe and that gym and all that Vietnamese restaurant that's down there.
Okay.
So,
yeah. I know where that is.
We're going to be double billing at 3 in the afternoon. Joanne Chang's going to do a half hour, and then we're going to do a half hour of polka hip-hop. So it'll be an interesting show.
Okay. You're managing the bar adjacent to the Miramar right now. Is that correct?
Managing.
Oh, you're not?
No. eliminated my position. So I'm just kind of floating around right now, just bartending odd hours and trying to pay my rent as best I can. I'm going to be bartending Summerfest, but I'm not going to tell you where because I don't know yet.
Oh.
Would you tell us if you did know yet?
I don't think it matters because I'm not allowed to talk to people. They're pretty strict down there. I'm not allowed to like chat with my friends unless I go on break, I think. So
yeah,
there was part of we had the orientation meeting. Well, the beer down there, it's like you're just trying to get beer in people's hands as fast as possible so that you can
move units. Yep.
So, and we should talk about the Midwest Small Press Fest a little bit. Hey, what do you think?
Can we swear on the air?
No, you can't.
Okay.
Well, we're trying not to.
Well, yeah, you can, but well, we're not supposed to. But I don't know. See, it's on the internet, so I don't think FCC rules and regulations apply.
Yeah.
But I think Zav is planning on getting a place on the dial eventually, so he doesn't really want people to swear.
Oh yes. My joke earlier today was that I was going to call my show "Trying Not to Swear for an Hour" with Keith Gosted, and the profile picture was going to be a picture of George Carlin crossed out like the Ghostbusters logo.
7 dirty words.
2 times I did that joke.
Yeah.
Today. Sorry.
You'd be saying fudge and shoot.
Forget you mother forgetter.
Oh,
You can go forget
Chinese
yourself.
checkers.
Chinese checkers. Cheese, fudge, and rice.
Yeah. Were you planning on doing a lot of swearing?
Kind of. When it comes to the Midwest Small Press Fest. Okay. That was hard not to swear during. I want to swear.
Was it out of jubilation?
Yes.
Out of like oh hell yes.
Yes. Allowed it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tell us about the event that you're organizing. That we were talking about. It's kind of angsty.
Oh yes. Well, first of all, we should talk about what it is. It's next weekend, June 1st to the 3rd. It's a fuck fest of crazy poetry workshops and readings. A funk fest, a freak fest. No, kind of freaky, but
thank you very much.
Yeah, and there's like an opening reception at Woodland Pattern, and if you haven't been to Woodland Pattern yet, change this. And there's a book fair on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
10 a.m.
Ooh, that's early. And then there's like workshops about how to bind a book, and readings by all these great poets from around the Midwest. But the specific event that I am the mama for, or a third of it I'm a mama for, it's called AV Literary Theatrics at the Nut Factory. Yeah, it's 9:30 to 12 to midnight on June 1st. It's going to be a different way of exhibiting poetry. There's going to be 3 30-minute sections. One of them is Lynchian, is how someone described it. It's going to be surreal. There's going to be a guy in a suit, very 50s and dapper and swinger, and he's going to be very snarky. And then another one is very pastoral, pastels with like blurred out images of wheat and romantic poetry read in front of it. And our very own Mike Hauser will be our very own Bob Ross.
Now, is this supposed to be scripted? Or am I supposed to write it ahead of time?
We can talk about that.
Okay.
How about you do what you want to do, and I'll say yes.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar with Mike Hauser, you change that.
Yes, change that.
Yeah.
And then
if they're one of the 4 people that's listening, they obviously are.
Kristen's going to boost the ratings to the roof.
Oh, by the way, if you want to listen to this radio show, it's riverwestradio.com. So please tune in.
Please open another window and tune in to riverwestradio.com because
double up.
We're live.
Yes.
As we speak.
It's 10:39 p.m. Do you know where your kids are?
It's a different show in another dimension.
Mm-hmm. And then,
Did you want to say 10:39 p.m.?
Yeah, exactly 10:39.
Exactly that time.
Do you know where your kids are at?
They're in another dimension.
That's cool.
They're hanging out with the storks.
I have some kids in a video game somewhere. Probably dead now. I didn't feed them.
What was the video? Was it like a video game, like a pregnancy video game?
Well, no, it was Fable. Yeah, Fable. I had a wife and I got her pregnant. She had a kid. But
Oh,
I haven't
you were a
seen her
man
for,
in this video game.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
I was. Yep. And I was chaotic good. Anyway, so the third part of the AV literary theatrics is this, in my sense, it's going to be one of those really awkward Jewish high school or Jewish junior high Valentine's Day dances where the guys don't talk to the girls and the teacher is the only person who is
on opposite
socializing.
sides of the gym.
Yes.
With the cheap mirror ball.
Disco ball.
Yeah.
White Snake playing on the DJ. The DJ's paid $25 for 6 hours of work.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the background, and we're going to have some poets read in front of that with ridiculously melodramatic, ridiculously semi-erotic, maybe homoerotic, teenage wet dream type stuff. It's really fun.
Does it have a title?
Where the Wild Things Are.
Okay.
No, do you have a title for it?
No, I don't know.
Where the Wild Boys Are?
Yeah. Hot for Teacher, maybe?
But that sounds too much like...
Hot for Teacher.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that might work as kind of taking a title and using it in a different context or a different medium.
Yes.
I'd like to do an event called Where the Mild Things Are.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And just have it be real smooth.
Will it be hosted by George Takei? Or George Takei?
He's a little...
I always say his name wrong.
rougher than people like to imagine, I think. George Takei.
Rougher?
He's a little rough around the edges. I've seen his Facebook posts.
Like you mean like grizzled, like Robert Duvall?
Well, you don't just get a voice that deep, you know. Not being a little bit grizzled, you know.
Well, I think you do. I think it's just, I don't know what makes a voice deep, but I think you just either have it or you don't.
It's masculinity. I mean,
yeah.
He's really manly, isn't he?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Sulu. You don't know who George Takei is? Okay. Oh. You may know him from Facebook.
Right. We just had a generational moment.
You might know George Takei from Facebook. He was famous for being on Star Trek, but now he's mostly famous because lots of people follow him on Facebook. He has a very popular Facebook page.
When did it become cool to know what Star Trek was?
I mean, I don't think it ever did. Per se, I mean, it's just a maybe there was like kind of a cutoff point where because when I was growing up, Star Trek was just like one of those shows, and Star Trek: The Next Generation was on, and I don't know if I've ever watched a single episode of it, but I know like some of the characters like Spock and Scotty and George Takei played Sulu.
Nice backpedal, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that next time someone asks me what I know about Star Trek. I used to watch some of the shows, and I don't really know a lot of the characters. I mean, there's a guy on there named Scotty. Yeah.
Is that the phrase where "we're gonna need a bigger boat" comes from?
No, I want to say I want to say we're gonna need a bigger boat as First Blood, but First Blood is. You're gonna need to bring a lot of body bags or something.
I thought it was
like
the Cider House Rules.
The Cider House Rules? No, that's
wildly
the perfect
Good
storm?
Night, Young Princes of Maine. You're thinking of in the Cider House Rules.
Titanic. It was Titanic.
The Old Man and the Sea.
Yeah.
Probably said that.
The perfect storm.
I was thinking today that I think I have like a 15-year-old girl trapped inside me.
Dude.
Do you ever think that?
Yeah, I have an 8-year-old like Jackson brother in me.
Really?
Like one of the Jackson 5.
One of them?
8-year-old.
Have you decided which one?
Probably Michael.
Michael?
Yes.
I mean, that's the one everybody would be, though. Why not like Jermaine or Tito?
Fine, Tito. Tito's fine. I'll do him. I'll have him. I'll be him.
Maybe I have like 15-year-old Janet Jackson trapped inside me.
Maybe that's why I feel kindred to you.
Yeah, but I love like music that has that kind of thrilling like teen pop feeling.
Yeah.
To it.
Hit me, baby, one more time, like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Britney Spears.
Yeah.
I like Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne.
Yeah. I can dig that.
Yeah.
I went to Canada just because I wanted to be Avril Lavigne. I was 22.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Where in Canada?
North
Ontario?
Here. No, just north of here, somewhere.
You don't know where?
Not really.
No? Mm-mm. Did you learn how to skateboard when you were in Canada?
No, but I saw people skateboarding, and I got their autograph.
Because, I mean, that's kind of the stereotype, isn't it? It's snow and skateboards in Canada.
What was July?
Yeah.
Shall I talk about something not Canada related?
Please.
Sure. What would you like to bring up?
I just wanted to say that I've got a Burdock event coming up on Saturday.
Where is it?
At the Jackpot Gallery right across the street.
This will be June 2nd. June 2nd.
Yeah.
Jackpot Gallery.
Come on over.
Man.
Come check it out.
There's a lot of events going on that weekend.
It's part of the whole
There's also Rod Smith at Woodland Pattern.
Yeah.
Sunday, 2 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah. Usually, I believe the reading is at 2 o'clock. I should know. I had Rob on as a guest.
There's a workshop coming up too that weekend, doesn't he?
He's teaching a workshop at the sculpture gardens.
Ah, yeah.
I don't remember the name of the sculpture gardens. I fired my whole research team today, so I'm very unprepared. But it's the and he's living he's living like in an apartment that's there, or like a cabin or a cottage or something. I don't know what it looks like. Okay. Who's in the next issue of Burdock, Keith?
I've got this handy dandy flyer here. Some familiar names. We've got Jim Chapson, Paul Vogel, and Tyler Farrell are going to be appearing. New Blood is David Press and Brandon Miller. Although Brandon was in Loop, and they were on Burdock 10, but this is his first poems that I'm putting in. And Kiki Anderson is going to be there. Cynthia Spencer is going to stop by. A couple other folks. I can't remember everybody off the top of my head right now. I'm bad at this. Oh, it's also Jennifer Kraft's chapbook release reading, too. So you should come out for that reason as well.
What's the chapbook called?
To You Trying to Save My Life.
To You Who Tried to Save My Life?
To You Trying to Save My Life. I don't know who you is.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be solved in the book. But come on out, find out, get a copy.
I'm curious.
So you kind of like to keep it local with Burdock.
I don't do it intentionally.
But you seem very, very in touch with poetry as a local thing.
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's local to you.
To me, it is to a degree. I like to put in people from outside the region when I can.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get a lot of submissions from people. I guess they just don't like responding to Facebook posts or whatever. You know what I mean? When you do a call for submissions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has to do with being kind of underground or something like that. I mean, because I've never put Burdock in any small press lists or anything like that. I got rejected from Selby's list, which I'm kind of proud of now. At first, I was all sad. But I
don't even know what that is.
That's like some guy on the internet who's got an axe to grind, but he likes to put out lists of everybody's stuff. There's like...
It's a weird thing for someone with an axe to grind to make lists of magazines.
He's not an axe to grind. He's just putting out lists of experimental poetry magazines. And I thought mine was experimental. But I think he meant experimental like not using lots of the word the or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know how
Or don't say I.
Yeah, don't say I, or don't use capitalization, or be weird with your punctuation.
Yeah.
That's experimental.
What do you guys think of what do you guys think of the idea of using experimental and applying it to poetry? It's always been kind of weird and problematic, I think.
Well, I thought I was doing an experimental
weird.
Publication just by virtue of the publication itself, like being able to peel poems out and
just to do it is experimental.
That was experimental.
Yeah,
It's something that hasn't been done before.
Right.
Often.
And so, I thought, hey, that's kind of neat, whatever. You could kind of use poetry in place of graffiti tags or something like that. That was kind of the goal initially. And I thought that was an experimental move. But, people have different definitions of what that is. So
yeah,
I have an issue with that word. At UW Milwaukee, their film department's called it's experimental film. It's not traditional film or whatever the other word is.
Does that just mean non-narrative?
That's what sometimes it means, but actually it means if you are a filmmaker who's trying something new in a bold or subtle way, you're doing an experimental film. So it could be narrative, but if your character is if you're just experimenting with any aspect of the story, the format, the production at all, it's experimental. So isn't every film ever made experimental because every filmmaker is doing something new.
You know, it was an experimental film to me, that Bruce Lee movie where he died in the middle of it and they started using a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
That was experimental filmmaking. If you
Enter the Crow?
I think it was Game of Death.
What? No, it's The Crow. Brandon Lee?
Bruce Lee.
Oh.
Did I say Brandon Lee?
Did you say Brandon?
Oh yeah, Brandon Lee died in the middle of his film too.
Crow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tommy
really?
Lee died in the middle of Pamela Anderson.
What?
I'm just kidding.
I don't know what that means.
That was a dirty joke.
Yeah.
He didn't die though.
He didn't die. You're right.
What do you think about
So sorry. It was really stupid.
I don't even try to attend
I should be
jokes,
fired
so-
from this
But
show.
no, you were being experimental with your joke.
That was an experimental joke,
Yes. You dig?
people. Yeah.
yeah.
Call in to 1-600-755-55555 if you have an experimental joke for us. What?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
Would you like some fives with that?
Kristen, you make films.
Yeah.
Do you feel like film and poetry overlap for you? Have you ever experienced them as a cross-disciplinary kind of?
I don't like that question.
Why not?
Well, it really depends on what you're trying to express and the format that you're using it for. So poetry, I guess poetry and film is different and the same for me. With film, I get to work with all these people and I get to collaborate on a larger mind or a larger idea that doesn't have to do with just me.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's kind of the opposite of poetry because poetry, I rarely work with someone else, and it's really from me and my experience alone.
But poetry is kind of a collaborative experience for you with vibe,
Definitely,
right?
yes, but also not. I mean, everything that we write is very individual, but then we come together with the four of us have very different voices, and when we compare each other to another person in the group, we can see a lot of similarities and a lot of differences. So it's very confusing. Like we are working together and we do fit very well together, but we're all very different. And we all kind of work at our own pace alone and then come together in the end. But filmmaking is like from the beginning to the end, you work with at least one other person. So poetry and filmmaking really does not overlap for me. But when it does come to directing, like if I am the director and I'm the poet, it is the same process for me. Like I usually with poetry, I find a phrase that I love and I think about for a very long time. And when I'm directing or writing a movie, I think of an image and I ruminate and I kind of go crazy over that one image and I build a story around that. I don't know. It's a broad question.
Do you ever find it hard to bring about the image on film to actualize it? That must be kind of a frustrating thing sometimes.
I believe I'm very grateful towards myself or graceful towards myself. When I am stubborn about an image and I want to get that one image, the moment I turn on the camera, I forget it and I just get what I get. And from that moment, I'm in the place, I have the actors, and I have the story in mind, but I get what I get, and I make the most of it. And if I don't get the image that I was dying for in my head before I started filming, I don't even think about it after I'm done filming. So I love that I'm graceful about the image, and I feel like I'm much more visual than I am with words. What's the word for that? Literary. I'm definitely a more visual person than
literary minded.
Yeah, like I'm not very good at verbally expressing myself, but visually expressing myself.
You're doing a good job verbally expressing yourself right now.
Lots of practice, and lots of very patient friends who have to listen to me talk and then make circles.
So you start with the image and you kind of, is there a feeling that stays with you?
Yeah.
Is it totally lost in translation, or is there a feeling that kind of guides it, or I would imagine that it evolves?
It's like this. I get an image in my head and I go, oh my gosh. And then I go to start filming and I try to set that image up And then I get there, and if I don't get the image or I do not, what I aim for is the, oh shit, that's awesome, I want that image. Like, so I chase the, ooh, that's hot, oh, that's sexy. Like, I just chase that, and if I don't get that, I'm dissatisfied, or I move to a new location or something. I'd change my idea until I get the, holy crap.
I like those phrases as kind of markers of the process. You have the oh my gosh, and then you have oh shit, and then you have holy crap.
Yeah.
I think I didn't get all of them right.
Well,
but
they all mean the same.
have you ever sat down and kind of tried to write like there's the oh my gosh, and then it's followed by the oh crap, and then the, I mean, that's maybe a weird question, but
No, yeah, I'll try that. But actually, a couple of weeks ago, I finished a film a couple of weeks ago, and I was editing it, and I could hear myself in the background say, "That's so pretty," like every 5 seconds. That's so pretty, and I sound like a moron, just a moron. But I'm okay with that because I know how it feels to think something is so pretty, especially when I'm creating it at the moment.
yeah.
So I was okay with it, but I was like, please, I hope there's no more of these. Or I kind of purposely didn't choose those clips because I didn't want to hear my voice ever again.
Like it was too late. You was already the finished product, and you heard your voice. Or?
I took the track out, but I just didn't want to hear the under track anymore because I said it so much. It was a comfort.
Well, you appear in your films sometimes, don't you?
One of them, yeah. A couple of them I do just because we don't have other actors, or if my face isn't going to be shown. I don't like acting, but if it's like my hands or my legs running or me wearing a moth costume, I'm fine with it. So yeah, sometimes I act.
Do you own a moth costume?
Yeah, I own about
really?
12.
Is it like, does it have like wings that like like a wingspan that's like much, really?
Yeah, from far away, if you're driving towards us, it looks like we're in the Klan.
Did you ever go to West Virginia?
Like you're in the Klan?
No.
Do you know about Mothman?
No, that's where our mockumentary came from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Noah Witt. He came up with this. I was in a class, and he came up with this idea of the real Mothmen, and.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah. Yes. So we made a mockumentary last semester, 2 semesters ago.
Nice.
On Mothmen in Milwaukee. You should check it out.
Mothman.
Yes. It's very funny.
That's the name of the. That's the name of a good butcher I know.
What?
Just kidding.
All right, well,
his name's Fred
there you
Mothman.
have it, kids. Keep your eyes out for a really good butcher named Mothman.
Yes.
And tell him Keith Gostad sent you. The store is about to close. I think we have to finish up. Paul Finger's ranting and raving outside. That means it's time to close up shop here at River West Film and Video. Do you guys have any parting words that you'd like to leave our audience with?
Keep calm and carry on.
How about that?
All right, that'll work. I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.
Thanks.